Billy, Zach hits that three with, I think, 6:32-ish on the clock to go up 17. 3.5 minutes later, it's tied. What did you see was the breakdown? I mean, it's hard to point out one thing. There are numerous things that kind of went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the fouling was a huge issue. You know, we got him into the bonus early in the fourth. Thought that was an issue. I think the other issue was the rebounding. You know, we had opportunities where we forced them to miss the first shot, and they just came flying in from the perimeter. And then I thought the other part of it, too, was the physicality, which they played with defensively. And I think the officials letting that stuff go obviously was a huge discrepancy from the free throw line. And I think we had a hard time playing through it, quite honestly. But it's really, really hard to win when you give up a 50-point quarter. You know, I don't know what we ended up scoring in the fourth, but to your point, we were up, and I thought those three things stood out to me. You know, some of the aggressiveness that led to turnovers, the rebounding, and the fouling.
Before the game, I asked you about Trae Young, and it seemed through the first three quarters you guys checked a lot of boxes as far as what you wanted to keep in check. And then that fourth quarter, he did the things that, you know, hurts teams.
Yep.
What changed? Was it just, you know, three quarters you guys carried out the game plan and then didn't, or was it more of what Trae did?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think I've seen this with players like him. You know, they're really good. I feel like Lillard does this a lot. They just kind of like understand the length and time and how long the game is, and they're seeing how they're being guarded and who's on them, and I think they're just taking inventory throughout the game. And then, you know, when the game's in the balance or whatever it is, they know exactly where they want to go to. You know, he obviously made some big shots. We had, I think, the one play where I think Javon maybe overran it a little bit, where he kind of pump faked in transition on a loose ball, and that was a big shot. And he made some big shots, you know, obviously to tie the game. I think he made the three to tie the game. But yeah, I mean, he just, I think, just reads the game and just figures out what's there.
Javon, especially, I mean, 19 points in however many minutes. It wasn't a lot of minutes. For him to just keep himself ready, and we all see him just shooting and working and always kind of ready. What does that say about him, and does that change your mind as far as maybe he's got to creep up in the rotation now if he could come up and be instant offense like that?
Yeah, he's been, I give him a lot of credit for doing what he did. We were kind of dead in the water starting the game. It was 9-2. We weren't playing well. And he kind of came in and gave us a huge boost. In that first quarter, he got fouled on 2 3-point shots. I think he made 6 threes in the first quarter. Yeah. That was huge for us. That can give us some breathing room. And I'm happy for him just personally because of the amount of time that he puts in, and the opportunities for him have been limited. But the ability and the maturity competitively just to keep himself ready at all times is really impressive to me. And certainly to see him rewarded for the work he put in was great.
And then Zach, obviously for at least 3 quarters, he was really on one. I mean, walk-up threes, coming off curls. I mean, he was showing the whole kind of, you know, everything he has in the bag.
Yeah, I think that we got to learn from this because certainly when we had talked a little bit about it in the timeout, when he kind of got it going there, you knew at some point they were going to start trapping him, and they were pre-rotating on some things. I think that led to some turnovers. I think we needed to maybe try to help him and give him a few more outlets. The outlet I think he was looking for was Vooch. They were pre-rotating to him, and then I thought as the game, you know, when it got to be 6 or 7 inside of a minute, you know, the game's obviously, I don't want to say it's out of reach, but you're having a hard time coming back. I thought we generated really good. We didn't make any of them, but we generated good shots off of that, and we didn't do that enough earlier in the fourth quarter when they started to do some of that.
Coach, Jalen Johnson got 30 and 13, I believe. But to see him affect the game the way he did with hustling and everything, how difficult was it to contain him?
Yeah, I think him and Hunter and those guys are big, long wings. Even Ricochet, I thought that they really hurt us on the glass, and they were aggressive going to the glass and aggressive playing inside. You know, I think we had blown some coverages on some switches and things and gave him an opportunity on some rolls. And then with his size, when he gets to the rim, he's obviously really hard to handle.
And then when you have Zach hot like he was, Kobe got hot at one moment, then you had Carter early in the first quarter. Does that, even though they're hot, but is it hard to, I guess, manage the game when it's taken away from the other players as far as like maybe getting out of rhythm as well?
No, I didn't think we had a rhythm. I mean, we had 36 assists. We scored 130-something points. I mean, I thought we played a really, really good offensive game. I think giving up 50 points, which I said earlier, led to the fouling too much, the offensive rebounding, and then some of the turnovers.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.